Who is Jesus Christ? God, the Son of God, or something else entirely? Here's a story I wrote called A Walk in the Desert. I once found myself walking alone through a desert at sunrise. It was quiet, completely still, except for the wind. There's something about the desert that strips away all distractions. No cars, no screens, no noise. It's just you and your thoughts. That morning, I found myself thinking about Jesus Christ. Not in the way we're taught as kids or the way we hear about him in church, but as a man, a historical figure, and perhaps something beyond human comprehension. Who was he really? Was he God, the Son of God, or was he something else entirely? Something modern religion might not fully understand. The more I thought, the more questions emerged. What would Jesus think about the way we celebrate him today? Through Christmas and religious traditions, would he have rejected organized religion as it stands? Would he have embraced a more Buddhist, spiritual view of the world? And most importantly, why has our celebration of him and everything he stood for been drowned out by materialism and shallow rituals? Stick with me because we're about to go deep into philosophy, psychology, conspiracy, and spirituality to figure out who Jesus Christ really is and what he might say to us today. Let's start with this. Jesus Christ is one of the most impactful figures in human history. Whether you're religious or not, you can't deny his influence. Billions of people follow him. Entire civilizations were shaped by his teachings. But who was he really? From a historical perspective, Jesus was a Jewish teacher born around 4 BCE. He lived a humble life, preached love, forgiveness, and inner transformation, and challenged the religious and political systems of his time. His message was revolutionary yet simple. Love your neighbor as yourself, turn the other cheek, the kingdom of God is within you. But here's where it gets complicated. Christians believe Jesus was divine, the Son of God, or even God himself. The Bible is full of statements like John 10:30, where Jesus says, "I and the Father are one." And yet Jesus also referred to himself as the Son of Man, a title emphasizing his humanity. So was he God or was he human? Many theologians argue that Jesus was born fully human and fully divine, a paradox that we may never fully understand. But what's interesting is that Jesus himself seemed less concerned with labels and more focused on the message. He didn't go around demanding worship. Instead, he focused on helping people transform their hearts and minds. Now let's talk about something controversial. Would Jesus approve of organized, strict religions that claim to follow him? Or would he reject them entirely? Here's the thing. Jesus had a lot of issues with the religious leaders of his day. In Matthew 23, he openly called out the Pharisees, who were the religious elite, saying, "Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces." Jesus despised empty rituals, rules for the sake of control, and the hypocrisy of religious leaders. Instead of focusing on dogma, he emphasized personal transformation, compassion, and truth. Sounds a lot like something you'd hear from Buddhist teachings, doesn't it? The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Jesus echoed this when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you," in Luke 17:21. Both teachings point to the same truth. True peace and connection to the divine come from within, not through rigid external systems. If Jesus were alive today, would he embrace modern Christianity, or would he challenge it the same way he challenged the Pharisees? It's worth thinking about. Now let's shift to something that hits home for all of us, Christmas. Christmas is meant to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, but let's be real. It's become a holiday of consumerism, greed, and distractions. We spend trillions of dollars globally on Christmas. The average American spends over $900 on gifts, decorations, and parties. But here's the shocking part. Less than 50% of Americans today consider Christmas a religious holiday. For most, it's about presents, food, and stress. How did this happen? You can trace it back to the 1800s. The Industrial Revolution made mass production possible, and marketers jumped on the opportunity to turn Christmas into a season of spending. Santa Claus in his red suit became the symbol of Christmas, largely thanks to Coca-Cola ads in the 1930s, and the rest is history. Think about this. Jesus was born in a manger, in poverty, with nothing but love and faith surrounding him. Today we celebrate him by maxing out credit cards, buying things we don't need, and filling ourselves with stress and overindulgence. It's the exact opposite of what he stood for. So what does all this mean for us? What would Jesus say if he saw what Christmas has become? I think he'd tell us to stop looking outward and start looking inward. He'd tell us to simplify, to love, and to find the divine within ourselves. In a world that values money, fame, and possessions, Jesus reminds us that true wealth is spiritual. He said in Matthew 6:19-21, "Do not store up for yourselves treasure on earth, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This doesn't mean you have to reject all traditions or stop celebrating, but maybe it's time to ask yourself, what does Christmas really mean to you? Are you focusing on love, family, and faith, or are you getting lost in the noise? Interestingly, many of Jesus' teachings align with Eastern philosophies like Buddhism. Both Jesus and the Buddha taught about love, detachment from material things, and the importance of inner peace. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers," and love your enemies. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. These are universal truths that transcend religion. Whether you're Christian, Buddhist, or something else entirely, the message is clear. True transformation begins within. So who was Jesus Christ? Was he God, the Son of God, a prophet, or something beyond our understanding? Maybe the answer doesn't matter as much as the message he left us. Jesus taught us to love unconditionally, to seek truth, and to find peace within ourselves. As we approach Christmas, let's reclaim that message. Let's celebrate Jesus, not with endless gifts, but with gratitude, simplicity, and love. Let's honor the divine spark within ourselves and others. Because at the end of the day, Jesus' greatest lesson is that love is the answer. As always, thanks for watching. Value learning, keep growing, and success will come. If you found this video valuable, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Start a conversation in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.